Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joined with your other host,
Karen.
And Karen, what is this episode all about?
Decibel Metal and Beer Fest 2024.
In Denver.
In Denver.
The Denver version.
Yes.
Because there's two. There's one in the spring in April out in Philly, which we haven't been to
No,
yet.
not yet.
They did them before, too. There's one in, like, LA, I think, at one point, and then maybe one in Chicago even at one point.
Oh, really?
I can't remember.
Like
yeah.
a reoccurring one?
No, I think it was just like a one-time thing. And I think the LA one may have been like a one-time
Oh,
or
okay.
two-time thing as well.
Okay. Because you also went to like the tour that they did.
They did do a tour last year, yeah, but not like a beer and metal type thing.
That it was just a metal fest.
Yeah. But this one was in Denver. It's the third time they've done it. It's in the winter, in December. The dates for this year were, December 6th and 7th?
Yeah.
It's always like the Friday and Saturday, just a 2-day festival. Ticket prices for this, or do we want to go into who was playing? Let's go into who was playing, I guess, first.
Oh, sure. I don't care how you want to do this. You always want to do the ticket numbers before we do anything else.
Okay, yeah, let's do the ticket numbers then.
There's two type of tickets that you can get with this, depending on how you can either do the 2-day or the single day, but you can either do a metal and beer or just metal.
Right, exactly. So we did one of each because you don't drink beer, so no point in doing that. Yeah. I do drink the beer, so I get the beer one. The beer ticket for the 2-day price or the 2-day package was $179 with $27 in fees. You did, as we said, the non-beer version, so just the 2-day metal one, which was $79 and $17 in fees. So an extra $100 for the beer.
Yeah.
Which honestly isn't that bad, I don't think.
No, we kind of talked about it while we were there this year, where if you were going to buy beers at the festival, that's probably 3 beers.
I mean, you figure you have $15 a beer, plus you throw in a little bit of a tip there. You're at $20-ish. Let's just say $20 a beer, so that's 5 beers a day. For not necessarily an all-day festival, because it did start at like 4 and 5 p.m., so a good 6 hours or so. So that's a beer an hour, I guess, if you figure it out that way.
No, it's 7 hours.
Oh, I guess it was going to 10.
Midnight.
It was going to 11 and midnight.
Yeah.
So
I was like, it's 7 hours.
But in any case, not that bad, really. And even when you think about going to beer festivals, which I do from time to time, I haven't done one in a while, but those are like $60 for like a 3-hour, 4-hour sort of ticket that gets you into the festival. Wander around, same concept. You wander around, you go get your little sample or small taster, and then, so that's like $60 to $80 depending on what one you go to. I think Fobab this year was probably like $85, which I didn't go to, but still. This is 2 days worth of it though, so really not that bad. I know I always look at the price. I'm like, fuck, that's a lot. $100 extra.
I enjoy. I mean, just for the metal for 2 days for $80. I'm gonna say $80. It's $79. I mean, less than $100 with fees. Great price to see 14 bands for 2 days.
Yeah, and we were talking about this too. I know you don't like I track all these numbers and whatnot. On our spreadsheet, I did throw a fee percentage on there. The fee percentage for you was 21.52 is what the fee percent was. Mine was just over 15%. And we were talking about that, like, how the fuck was mine so much lower? But they're probably not tacking on fees for the beer portion of it. Yeah. Is what we sort of figured out. And I haven't figured out if we take... Actually, I can do that right now. Boom, boom. Let's just play with this real quick.
Well, if you take away the beer portion, you would have a higher fee percentage.
Yeah, 34.
Because it's exactly $100.
Exactly. I'm not good with math, so whatever. We're rambling now.
Any hoodles. Who was at the festival this year?
Well, it was at Summit again, the same location it's always been the last 3 years. Really cool location. I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, the first year they didn't have the remodel done completely, so it still had a booth in the back and like the bar was in the middle and stuff. Yep. That's all been moved back, so you have pretty open floor area. And then on the side they have merch with beer vendors, and then on both sides, I guess, there's merch and beer vendors. Yeah, and then upstairs there's beer vendors.
Yeah, and every year we've been there, so all 3 years, it's been a different configuration because of the remodel for sure. Yeah. But then last year they had a bunch of merch and stuff going on outside of the venue.
That's what you mean by different. I was like, no, it's not. It's exactly the same this year and last year.
With the vendors and the beer and whatnot.
Yeah. And last year was really cold. It was like 20 degrees. This year was like 50s.
It was beautiful, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were able to wear sweaters.
Yeah.
And just call it
which
good.
Was nice. Yeah.
besides the stuff outside that was different, each band also had their own merch table, it seemed like. Where last year, I don't remember each band having their own merch table.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Yeah, it was the same thing where like the headliners were kind of up those stairs a little bit. I mean, there's like a little platform that they're on. And then down front was like the smaller bands.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because like remember Chemist was down there before they even started?
Chemist was up top, but they were a headliner last year as well.
Well, they were, but they had their own little table.
It was up top.
Oh, I thought it was down.
No, because it was up top because that's where we got the poster and talked to like the lead singer and whatnot.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. Maybe it was the same. I didn't notice it last year, but I noticed it this year where the other bands were down below that platform.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where they were last year.
They had other merch down there last year with like the vendors and whatnot, but I don't remember each band having their own table, which this year each band had their own little table to set up merch and sell. Okay. But maybe there was, and I just don't remember it. Additionally, up top on that catwalk where they have beers and whatnot, the seats that were around the like balcony catwalk area, I think this year were reserved because they had like numbers taped on them and whatnot. I think last year was sort of a GA. Whoever got there first got the seat, which did make it much easier to get beer later on in the night, because that has been one issue I had in the past years is I'd always go up top to get the beer early on before it got too crowded, because once it got too crowded, that catwalk thing just got fucking insane to walk through, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. Like, I'm not fucking doing this. There's good beers down below. I'm going to go get those instead. So I'd prioritize going up there. This year, because of those, I think, being reserved seating, you didn't have people sort of hanging over the seats. You'd have one person hang on the seat or sit in the seat, and like one or two people sort of hovering around the seat, like a group of people and whatnot.
Take a shot every time Brian says whatnot.
Yeah. I am drinking Chemtrail Mix by Three Floyds, which is one of the bands there, and
one of the brewers there.
Yes, one of the brewers there, and one of the
We haven't got
beers.
to the bands yet.
We have not. We've been talking about the venue a little bit. But I did enjoy that a lot more, to get up there, and it made it a lot easier to get there later in the night, to go up there and go check out some beers and whatnot. So I do think that was a great improvement. And there's another whatnot and another one. Cheers. Anywho, back to the bands.
Well, let's get to the bands. We haven't even gotten there yet.
That's true. We had the 2 days. What do we have for day one?
So headlining was Autopsy, and then going down the bill was Frozen Soul, Undergang, Dreadnought, Necropanther, Upon Stone, and Deva opened on day one.
Yeah, and Autopsy was a special set too. It was I think like a whole album set.
Severed Survival.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. We didn't stay for that. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but and then who do we have for day two? I guess
day two, Yob headlined, and then going down the bill with Surith Angul, Paul Bearer, Crypt Sermon, Earthburner, Glacial Tomb, and opening on day two was Oak, Ash, and Thorn.
And then, real quick, the breweries, we touched on those a little bit, but we had Three Floyds Brewing, Incantation Brewing, Black Sky Brewing, Nemeth Brewing. I might have fucked that up. We'll throw these up on the screen, and people can actually read what they are instead of me butchering this a little bit. But then we also have Brimminghorn Meadery, War Pigs Brewing, Adroit Theory.
I didn't see their stand.
They may have been upstairs.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember who was where necessarily. I remember a few of them where they were and whatnot. Okay. But then continuing, we had Smoldered Society Beer Company, Thin Man Brewing, Magnanimous Brewing, Attic Brewing, Ratio Brewworks, and finally we have True Brewing, or as I've called it in the past, Thrive, I think. Or
You've always called it Thrive,
Thrive.
But it's
even
True.
Today I call it Thrive, but it's True.
Yeah.
The V for you, like a black metal band, really throws me off so much. So those were the bands and those were the breweries. How do we want to go about this? Because we did show up a few days early. We did record for a vlog that will be up at some point. I'll get off my ass and actually
do really good at that. He's going to do good in 2025 and get we have like 2 years of vlogs to do.
Yeah, we do. In any case, we'll get that up eventually. But do we want to talk a little bit about the trip and things we did, or do we want to skip over that and focus solely on this?
We could talk a little bit. I mean, very briefly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spend an hour talking about what we did, but
yeah. So we showed up.
Well, we got there really late on Wednesday night. Like we got there at like midnight.
Yeah, we
got downtown at midnight.
Plane flight delays and whatnot, but we got there super late. Checked in our hotel. Blah blah blah. All that fun shit. Your normal travel shit. But we did that intentionally because the pre-party was typically the Thursday before.
Yep.
The first year we went, we just happened to stumble across it while walking around Denver, downtown Denver. I think we were tired and didn't have cash to pay the cover.
Yeah,
and
we had just got there that day because we flew in on Thursday that year.
Like earlier that afternoon or something. Yeah. So we skipped over that. Year 2, I had to work that night. I had a release or something I had to be a part of, and that went long. And then at that point, we're like, fuck it, we're too tired. Because we also, I think, got there that day as well.
I think so, yeah. So this year we're trying to plan ahead.
Right. But we skipped it. Not because we didn't want to, but because buying the tickets for it were a little annoying and a little bit obnoxious this year. The past 2 years, you were able to just sort of like, it seemed like walk up to the door and buy in, right? Like pay the cover and walk on in. This year, I think it was mainly because the location had changed. It was a different brewery that wasn't a part of this. Where was the pre-party? Ratio Brewworks. Actually, they were at the festival.
They were at the festival,
okay.
yeah. But before, I think it was at like Marcus Theater or something like that.
It was like
Marcus.
2 different places, yeah. Or was it the same place
It was
both
the
years?
same place for 2 years, yeah.
Which isn't too far from the summit. Really cool. Any case, when tickets went on sale, we didn't want this to sell out. I didn't want to sell out, so I bought them the day of when it went on sale, or even pre-sale, I think. But the 3-day option, it was like an extra $20, $15 or something. You could buy the 2-day ticket with the pre-party pass on it for the beer and metal ticket. The 2-day non-beer ticket didn't have that option to get the pre-party. So we're like, what the fuck? We're not going to buy for you, and you can't buy the ticket by itself. You have to do it as that package deal. A week or so before the festival started, I went back and checked, and they did have that option now listed, but they didn't have it listed. I even posted on their like Instagram, like, hey, what are you going to offer this? And like no reply from Decibel whatsoever, and I was a little frustrated by that. I even commented for other people. They were asking like who were the bands playing and everything, and I just like listed it off for them. So, but that was a little annoying. So we didn't go to that, but we spent the day instead wandering around Denver. We went to Brutal Poodle again, which was awesome.
Yep.
Good metal themed, punk themed bar. I don't know.
More metal.
Punk, yeah.
More metal than punk, yeah. I guess the poodle could be punk.
Yeah, the Mohawk poodle with the pink poodle and whatnot. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really good food. Definitely got like a Kuma's vibe to it for sure.
Yeah. A more laid back Kuma's, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Kuma's, well, now Kuma's is better. That West Loop closed,
so
but
they were playing. Kuma's typically plays like horror movies or stuff like that. You know, they did have 4 Christmases on for their movie, so that was kind of fun. They also do sports ball because last time we were there was a Denver game.
Yeah.
So definitely not hardcore on the metal. There's definitely metal themed, but like we're going to cater to other events and other things as well.
Yeah.
After that, we sort of wandered. We got you coffee, found another brewery.
Well, we went to the record store.
We went to the record store right next door, Angelo's. Super cool spot. Love that spot.
Yeah, definitely go to Angelo's if you go to Denver. It's on Broadway, South Broadway somewhere.
Yeah, we picked up 3 vinyl records, and as we're checking out, they're like, oh, because you bought 3, you get another orange sticker under $15 for free, or you just pay the difference.
Yeah.
So we got a Karen's pick out of that.
Yep.
We'll eventually do that because we also have a stack of that shit we need to do.
We have a lot of shit to do in 2025.
Yeah. Then we kind of wandered, got you the coffee, found a brewery. We were making our way to Black Sky Brewing.
Yes.
Ended up going there, getting a couple pints. They had pinball machines, played some pinball. That was fucking fun.
Yeah, you're talking about Black Sky now.
Yeah, Black Sky.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know that's where we got to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Black Sky a lot because it's also like metal themed and like the imagery is all metal. It seems like they used to do their own festival.
Yeah.
Back pre-COVID, but not like that long ago, but pre-COVID at least.
Like 2016 and 2017, they did like 2 years in a row because they had 2 different posters hanging up on their walls.
Yeah. Good pizza. We didn't eat pizza there that night, but we had it the next day.
Got pizza, yeah.
Metal music playing. I think I said that already. So
yeah, it's a metal theme for sure. They had one of my favorite things there was the mystery vending machine where you get mystery items. So I got a bag of boobs and a bag of dicks, and then Pokemon cards.
Yes,
that was a lot of fun. It's all going to be in the vlog whenever that gets done.
Yeah.
But yeah, super, super really cool fucking spot. I like that place a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Every time we go to Denver now, I have a feeling we're going to be stopping there because it's more like even compared to Brutal Poodle's more like restaurant where it has like table. I mean, there's tables and stuff, but it's more just like an open room bar area thing.
Yeah, with
like,
little tiny tables. Like you can gather up if you want. You can move them together, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
It's a low key sort of laid back vibe.
Low key vibe. Yeah, which I really enjoyed. So.
And all of this was sort of, we took an Uber out to Brutal Poodle because it is quite a ways out from downtown.
Yeah.
Like 2, 3, 4 miles?
I think 4 miles.
4 miles?
From where we were staying, it was 4 miles. So, like, and we were kind of by, like, the mall thing, like the 16th Street Mall.
Yeah.
So.
We're on, like, the edge of downtown then at that point. The
South
west edge, whatever edge that is.
I think it's south.
I have no idea. I don't know what the right directions are.
But, anyways.
I would call west what normal people might call south.
Well, I could be wrong too.
Right.
But
somewhere down that way.
Yeah. So there is a bus that goes there, but we have not taken the bus that way.
We have not done that yet. But the point was we'll take the Uber out there and sort of wander our way back. Yeah. So we went to Black Sky. After that, the place we really, really wanted to go to, and I think they were supposed to have a pre-party, and we were debating back and forth on when it was going to be, if it was going to be Thursday or Friday. I think it actually was Friday, right?
Friday was like I don't know if it was really considered. No, Saturday. Okay, so Thursday was Tap Takeover
by Three Floyds.
With Three Floyds.
And this was, we didn't say the name yet. It was at True Brewing. That was the main location we wanted to hit up and make it to. Yeah.
So and Thursday was Tap Takeover. Friday, I'm not sure if they had anything, but Saturday I think was like Meet the Bands, and they had members of like 4 bands there.
Okay, I did see images from Frozen Soul. They were playing Commander there.
Oh, cool.
Which
of
like,
course,
oh, shit, that would have been awesome.
Yeah. But we show up there. We walked from Black Sky to there, which is kind of weird because it was like through a neighborhood. It wasn't like downtown streets or anything. So that was interesting. Cute houses in Denver, but
not that far really.
No, it wasn't. Like, no,
like a 10-minute walk at most.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, so the entire time we were there, my foot was fucking killing me. I think I had like a gout flare up or something. Like it was fucking painful to walk and stand. So it was very slow going for me for sure, getting over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we made it to True, and we wanted to go there since last year at Denver when we found out, like, oh shit, it's over here. We'd missed it. We looked it up after we left Denver, basically.
Well, I think we saw it last year. I think we saw it in the Uber after we went to Brutal Poodle, like on our way back. And I was like, oh, that's where True, because it's on Broadway as well.
Yeah.
Just further down. So I was like, oh, that's where that is.
In any case, we missed it last year, so this year it was like on the list of we want to go here, check this place out. And we go there, we get there. We didn't get any food there either. The beer was fine. I'm not like, the beers I had were fine. I didn't get any Three Floyds. I got their local stuff. I don't remember what I got. It was just sort of meh. It was okay. It's beer. But even the vibe of the place was just sort of like, meh, this is fine.
Yeah, as soon as I walked in, I was like, this is totally different than Black Sky. Like it's more, I don't want to say upscale because it's not like upscale, but it's more trying to reach the masses and not necessarily like.
Yeah, it just didn't have, like, the images we saw online, like, oh my God, this place looks fucking sick. So much character and, like, metal character to it. And maybe
I think it's just that one back corner, though.
Yeah, and maybe if you're at the bar and looking over the bar, you see that. But we, like, everything else was just sort of a generic brewer pub that we have here, right? Our brewery here. Tap room that we have here
a tap room, very small tap room too, because it's like very narrow.
Yeah, it feels like every sort of small tap room here in Chicago. There didn't have a whole lot of character to it, at least what the little bit we felt and saw. I want to go and check it out again, maybe next year if we go again next year. Or next time we go to Denver, I want to check it out. But Black Sky was so fucking amazing that it's like I'm definitely going to Black Sky.
And I'm thinking if we would have went the opposite, where if we would have went to Brutal Poodle, then went there. I don't think we would have had the same thought on it. We'd be like, oh, cool, it's a brew pub.
Yeah,
and then,
true.
or like a tap room sort of thing, and then go to Black Sky. But going to Black Sky was just more our scene and not necessarily, like, we felt more comfortable there than True.
The aesthetics of it felt more kind of grittier, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, it was sort of the end of our day of walking back. 4 miles isn't that bad, but again, my foot was killing me. So by that point, I was just also sort of done walking and just wanted to be out. Like, I want to go back to the room and just sort of fucking crash.
Yeah.
So that also could have played into it. But in any case, that was sort of our Thursday adventure run.
We went to the piano bar.
Oh, we did go to the piano bar afterwards, right?
Yeah, which was interesting because we were like one of 4 tables in there.
We were, yeah. I forgot about the piano bar. I love piano bars. One of my favorite things to do. This one kind of sucked. Not because the piano bar sucked, but the crowd they didn't fucking know Piano Man, and that was very disappointing.
Yeah.
They knew that stupid fucking Hot to Go bullshit fucking song, and they sung that, but...
And they played Taylor Swift.
Piano Man comes on, and nobody's like, what the fuck? Who's Davey? What's he do for a living? Like, motherfuckers, are you stupid?
He's a paramedic, right?
Fucking assholes. Jesus Christ. Learn some fucking music.
No, that was an interesting night. It
It actually was kind of funny they didn't know Piano Man. And we were talking afterwards, like, did they not know it, or were they just fucking around? Because every piano bar plays that song, and it's like the musicians up there have to fucking hate that song.
Yeah.
So by the audience member just fucking with them, they're like, maybe it gives them a good smile or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyways, then we went back to the room.
Yeah. The next day before the show, we did go back to Black Sky because we loved it so much. Got some pizzas, which were actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
And a couple pints, and then made our way over to the festival, day 1. All right. So there may have been a little bit of a jump cut or whatnot there. Another drink. Now I'm just going to throw them in when I can.
Yeah, please don't.
Anyway, we tried to add all the set lists we can find onto our playlist that we have for the end of, or just for the year as we go through in the order. Festivals can be kind of hard, and this one has been hard in the past.
Yeah, because they're not as, it's not like mainstream bands.
It's not mainstream bands. There's fewer people there to crowdsource it, and we definitely don't know the songs by any means.
I guess what I meant by mainstream bands is also they're not necessarily touring, like a headlining tour or something to like have multiple shows happening.
And we've talked about that too with Decibel, that like also if they do tour, it's a smaller show they're going to. They're going to be smaller clubs they play in. So a festival like this, if we said it in the past, and we'll probably bring it up at the end, I love this because you get to focus on subgenres of metal that don't necessarily get as much love as they deserve. I personally feel like.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see these and Decibel does that in general. Like they're focusing on sort of the lesser known or lesser appreciated subgenres.
Definitely lesser appreciated subgenres, but also just like you don't hear this shit on the radio, I guess is the main thing.
You don't hear much metal, and when you do, it's the mainstream shit, as you were saying. And for somebody getting into metal, they start with the mainstream shit, and you go like an inch below the mainstream shit. And it takes a while for somebody to dive this deep into metal and like, holy shit, yob, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
Because you're going to go from like Slipknot to Lamb of God, you know what I mean, to like Chimera, like that kind of shit that's not on the radio, but is on the radio. Like, you start with Slipknot, and then you're going to go, all right, what else could I listen to that's like Slipknot or similar? Oh, here's Lamb of God. Holy shit, this is awesome. What's after this? Shadows Fall, Chimera, that kind of shit that's not on the radio. Two very old bands that I love. So
I was like, that's a big jump because I think people are more like 3 Days Grace, Shinedown.
Yeah,
like
your radio metal.
Radio metal. That's like how you start, and then you go into.
But radio also does play a lot of Slipknot. At least back home in Iowa, they play not a lot, but there's a decent amount.
They play like the same 3 songs.
But you hear it more than you do anything else. Yes. Well, from Lamb of God for sure. Anywho, getting back to this, I guess the kind of point I was trying to make is the bands we were familiar with going into this, personally for me, was Frozen Soul, Autopsy, because we saw them at Milwaukee Metal Fest, and Glacial Tomb, because they were there last year.
Yes.
Although Glacial Tomb, I thought were the young kids who were like the first band.
Oh.
So when they came out and they weren't like super fucking young, 14-year-old kids up there playing, which they probably weren't. They were really like 23, 24 kids we saw last year. I was like, oh, so this is definitely not the band I thought it was.
Yeah.
But those were the bands that I was familiar with going into this show.
Yeah, same.
Super cool. But as I said, I was familiar with Frozen Soul. Typically, that means I would wear my Lamb of God boat vest or Headbangers boat vest because they were on that. I tried to pack it in our suitcases. It just didn't fit. We got new, smaller suitcases. And unfortunately, I had to stay here, so I'm not wearing it tonight also for that episode because of that reason. But I wish I could.
Because it wouldn't fit in your suitcase, so you're not wearing it now?
Yeah, basically. And I've got my Christmas sweater on.
It's Christmas, so that's why we have our holiday tree with our band ornaments on it.
Yeah.
And
but this is also very rambly because the whole point that we started with was adding songs to our set list.
Oh, yeah, that's where you started.
We did add as much as I could. It was kind of fun going through Setlist FM because somebody was updating as they went. And it was kind of funny that I can't remember what band it was, but I went through and it's like, unknown, 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 unknown. There's like 12 tracks of unknowns all the way through, and then like the sub sort of bullets under it where you say like, this is a cover of so and so, right? They put on their stuff like very heavy, very very heavy. Reminds me of XYZ band, which was like it made me kind of smile. Like
that's funny.
All right, that's really cool.
There, because I know sometimes. I mean, even this night, like at Decibel, like some bands will literally say like the name of every single song. Yep. The first time we ever saw Mother of Graves, he literally said the name of every single song.
Yep.
We didn't catch one of them, but we caught most of them. And then, so like even here at Decibel, like sometimes they'll say like the name of like, oh, this is off of our new album. It is blah.
Yep.
You know, that sort of thing. So sometimes like when they do that, like you could fill it in. So if it's like unknown, 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 name a song, unknown, unknown, unknown. So.
But like I said, I did as much as I could. So we got a decent number of songs actually on there.
I tried listening to it today, but I guess my Spotify is on shuffle and I was walking and it was cold.
Oh.
And so I listened to like the first song of Upon Stone that we have listed, and then it went to, I think it was like, I don't know what it went to.
Fucking Spotify's so weird because I put them on there yesterday and I listened to it while I was working on my headphones, and then I had to leave for an appointment or something. And I pulled it up on my phone to make sure I could continue where I was. And I listened to the next song on the list, and then it took us all the way back to the beginning of our playlist. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I had to go and find that song and select it, and then it went through the list.
And it doesn't tell us how many songs we have anymore, but I'm pretty sure it's like 1,000.
Not next to the song, but once you go up, it's like 1,600 songs right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew we had a lot. So
But
anyways.
But I did listen basically to all of it. It was really fun to listen to. There was a lot of shit. It's been a couple weeks now, a couple weeks.
A week and a half, yeah.
And there was some stuff that I listened to, and I was like, I do not fucking remember this at all.
Well, sometimes Spotify just sounds so different than
also
live.
Recorded songs do sound different than live for sure.
No, only on Spotify it sounds different.
Only on Spotify, you're
I'm
right. Joking. But you take decent notes, or you're starting to take decent notes.
I wrote like 3 things for every band, except for some bands.
So we'll go through sort of the highlights of the bands, and we'll just start with day one.
So Deva is the first band that we heard. So I'm always excited to see the first band of a festival. I think it's fantastic. Like as soon as they start playing, I'm like, it doesn't matter what festival. It's just like whoever the first band is, I'm always just like, yes, like it's
starting. Is starting. We're finally.
Starting.
I'm done with the wait. The wait's over. I'm tired. Like I'm done. Like standing in line. I'm standing here waiting for it to start.
Yeah.
The weeks leading up to it, the excitement there, and just like finally, yes, we're starting.
Yeah.
Let's
especially
go.
Like Milwaukee Metal Fest, Headbanger Boat, like any of the big things that we do. Like it's always fun.
Yep.
So, and I would say Decibel's up there.
Yeah, same here. I really fucking love this festival.
Yeah. I like it. By the end of the night, I'm normally done. Like, because it is a small space, so like standing in one spot for so long, I'm always just like, okay, I'm done. And also I don't drink beer, so.
Yeah, and by the end of the night, I've had a decent number of beers. So.
Yeah, so I'm done with you too.
Yep.
So, anyways, so Deva is the band that we're talking about. So they were black thrash metal. I don't know if you remember that or not, because I know that they're not on our playlist, but they had like the deep thrash sound, but then they had like the black metal vocals.
Now that you say that, it's ringing a few bells, not a whole lot. I'll have to recheck that out for sure.
Yeah, like find them, just listen to a few songs on Spotify. Yeah. Like not their set list.
I need to get better at that anyway. Like we always say we're going to do it, but I do remember liking that. And now that you bring that up, I was like, that's a really cool concept of sort of a black metal meets thrash metal. And I've always thought that black metal definitely has a thrashy element to it, but this was a lot more thrash, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but then like the black metal vocals just went with the music. So I love when the vocals meld into the music and it's just like part of the music and not necessarily like another thing on top of it, but just like melds with it. Okay, and then Upon Stone, I'm just making sure that I have the names right. So Upon Stone was melodic death metal.
Okay.
I don't remember very much of their set. They had the fast guitar riffs of a death metal set, or like the death metal.
Yeah.
The one thing that I have on here is they were late coming from their sound check, and so the Summit like shut off the lights. It was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, they're just like telling them like it's time to fucking go, like let's go.
When you say shut off the lights, you mean like the floor lights for the crowd?
Like the house lights.
The house lights. Okay.
Like you guys are like, we need to go. Like
okay. I don't really remember that. No, okay though.
Yeah, I kind of remember that happening, but I definitely put it in here. So, they tried to get, and then also in my notes I had that they tried to get like a pit going, which I kind of remember. They're trying to get the crowd to move, and they were like, I know it's early, like, you know, like this is a fast one, and just nobody was like all night. Just people weren't really going, sort of thing, which is fine, whatever.
Also, we haven't talked about this. I don't think either night sold out.
Oh no.
Night 2 sells out more, I think, than night 1, especially last year.
Because it's Saturday. Oh, last year, yeah, but I mean, it had like Red Chord and Agalock, which hadn't performed for a couple of years, I think, or like it was the only performance that year or last year or whatever. So, I mean, it was like the big names to get people to come out.
It was also Saturday, so I think a lot of people
yeah.
have to like work Fridays and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one that wasn't intentional. But yeah, they have to like work and. I stopped myself. They have to work, but Friday night or Saturday night, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Yeah.
But to finish that off, I guess.
What you were saying.
Friday night this year, again, wasn't sold out, but I felt like the crowd size was the perfect amount for that venue and for having beer.
Yes.
It was so easy to move around to get beer when I wanted to get a beer, and so easy like get in and out of the crowd basically to go get the beer I want to get. Which past years, especially the first year, I think both nights sold out. Saturday last year, I think sold out.
I did, yeah, I think so. You thought it was very, very close.
And by the end of the night, I stopped drinking beer because I don't want to leave the crowd to fight to go get a beer and then try to fight to get back to you. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just done drinking. This year, though, it was Friday night at least. Saturday night too, but Friday night for sure. Easy to in and out of because we also don't like fighting through the crowd to do it. Like whatever, if I have to leave the front of the stage to go to the back, I'm not going to get back to the front. I'm fine with that. But I did feel like the crowd size Friday night was perfect.
I think this year for both night was perfect in my opinion. There was enough room for like, especially on night 2 for like, and I'm sure, I think with Frozen Soul I saw photos of it, but like the pit opened
was there
up.
Actually a pit?
Yeah, like it. I mean, the crowd opened up pretty big, and night 2 was the same way, where like the crowd opened up and it was a big pit. Where like the first year, I remember we were on the edge of the pit the first night, and like the pit was so small because the crowd was so dense.
Yeah,
and it was fighting people from behind and not fighting the pit, but you know, like because everybody was
you're
like
getting
pushing
pushed back, and then they're pushing you forward. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I have my spot.
Yeah.
People get very territorial.
They do. Sometimes. Yeah. And that was a weird situation too, because it was just like trying to like allow the pit to be open, but then I think it was oversold the first year, or felt like it. But it could have felt like it because, like we were saying at the beginning, the bar was in the middle.
It was a weird setup, yeah.
And like then there was like those booths on the back, so it was kind of like everybody was in the front area, where the last 2 years like people have kind of went behind the soundstage and stuff.
And those years, you know, like I said, like at the end of the night, I know the crowd's going to fill up, and I'm just done drinking beer, and I'm fine with that. This year, though, I was able to get in and out and whatnot. Yeah. But back to selling out or being oversold, I did go to the Decibel show at Reggie's this year, earlier in the year, and that did feel very oversold as well. And I remember hearing other patrons there as well being like, yeah, they oversold this fucking hard. Because we were up in like the balcony looking down, and it was so fucking difficult to like even leave if you needed to. It was so fucking packed in there.
Like we went to a Forge show that was like that. 2 of them. Like we went to Machine Head at the Forge, where like you couldn't even move your arms.
And Helvetii.
Yeah, and then Helvetii, or Helvetia.
Helvetia, whatever they are.
Helvetii.
Yeah. All right, battery died, so we're coming back into this conversation. We think we were talking about overselling and the crowd size and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the Helvetii show.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So I was talking about at the Forge, like we had been to a few shows where like it's the point where like you can't even move. Like you can't move your arms. You can't do anything. And I felt like the first year of Decibel was that way at the Summit, like where it got to granted we were on the edge of the pit, so we at least had room in front of us, but it was to the point where like you couldn't move. And I remember last year during, it may have been during the record, but I had that feeling again where like I just couldn't move. Like we were in the middle of the crowd, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, that's weird, because there's times where I really like that feeling of being in the crowd.
I like being in the crowd. I don't like the feeling where you can't even move your arms.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
We've been to shows like that. I felt like a Wage Wars show.
No, that's different, because you're being you're jostling around
because the crowd is moving as well.
But this is like to the point where like the crowd is just standing there and like
with a little bit of movement, but for the most part you're standing there.
Okay, now the cat interrupted us. We're gonna get through this episode.
We're getting halfway there.
Okay, so anyways, my whole thing is like I don't mind when you're in a crowd and it's moving and jostling and that sort of
crowd,
thing.
Yeah.
But like when it's to the point like where you can't move, that I don't like.
Right. Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
This whole weekend was not like that at all.
So. No, like again, I feel like even though it didn't sell out, I feel like the crowd size was the perfect for this venue.
Yeah.
And what was going on for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Necropanther is next.
Necropanther. So immediately when their logo goes up, which is like a Black Panther coming out of a triangle.
Just a big old kitty cat.
Yeah.
Up there.
I loved it. So
we did end up going afterwards to buy their album, a T-shirt, and a patch because they all had their logo. The album because we love their music, the patch because it was the kitty cat logo, the shirt because it was the kitty cat shirt.
Yeah. So
you can say Panther all you want. You're a goddamn kitty cat. You're just a big old fluffy kitty cat.
Just a little kitty cat. So yeah, if you have a cat in your logo, like Fever 333, like we just automatically love you. They're a band from Denver.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Melodic death, thrash metal. Kind of the theme of the night, I think, is that melodic thrash death metal. Then I don't know what the song is, so if you know the song, please comment because I'm gonna have to go through every single song that they have. So this song starts with a drum solo, and maybe this is just for the live performance, but that's when the guitarists were tuning their guitars, which generally it's like the vocalist is speaking or something's going on when
if
that
you're
happens.
a decent band, who has a decent live, not a decent band, a band who knows how to work a crowd
to do the front
live
band
show.
thing. Yeah, exactly. So nothing. Especially for young bands, like that's something that's learned over time, obviously.
Yeah, because we've been to a lot of shows. I've noticed a lot lately this year where bands will turn around to tune their guitars and everybody will just stop.
Yeah.
And like there's no sort of chatting, there's no nothing going on. It's just silence.
Yeah.
While everybody's looking down at their like amps or their tuners and whatnot and tuning their shit.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, that's cool, but another part of me is like, I won't be able to tell the fucking difference. And 95% of the people in here won't either. So you know what? It probably doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
At least in my head. Maybe it really does, and I would notice if they didn't do
Potentially. It. We probably wouldn't notice, but...
Don't know. But this is the drum solo that covered that bit.
Yeah, so the drum solo was when they were tuning, and then all of a sudden the guitars come in just perfectly into the drum solo, and the song starts. So it was the third song from the end of their set, and I need to find it because I loved how it went together. So...
Definitely band to keep an eye out for then.
Yes.
See them live again.
Absolutely. I will see them live again. Then we come into Dreadnought.
I fucking loved Dreadnought. So fucking awesome. Such a great fucking band. Oh my God. They were, and I think you have it in your notes, they were basically the Keening this year.
Yes.
This year's version of the Keening.
The Keening of Decibel 2024 is what my notes say.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, they did have like a keyboard. You could hear the keyboard very, very well, which is good because we've been to some shows that like they have like a keyboard or a saxophone or something and you just can't hear it at all. You could, it was perfect for the melodic parts of the songs.
Last year, the Keening had a keyboard as well, and you could definitely pick up that bit too. It was much, much slower, and I think people got bored with it and just sort of like tuned out and started chatting during it.
Yes.
Last year. This year as well, I did feel like people gave it a bit of a chance, a lot more at the beginning and not as much chatting, but toward the end of it, for sure, there's a lot of chatter going on. I will say this was along that same line of slower, more melodic, definitely like a death metal kind of tone to it, but...
Well, they had like the heavier, deeper parts as well, where the Keening, I don't remember that. I just remember it being like the melodic, like
I was going to say
part.
that this did have a lot heavier elements added on top of it, which was fucking phenomenal. I don't want to say if I had to pick one or the other. They're different bands. They're different sounds, similar sounds, but different at the same time. I'm glad that they're bringing shit like this to this sort of festival because this is sort of where you're going to be more accepted, I think, in terms of like a metal festival.
Yeah. Where like if they were opening for like say Lamb of God crowd or I'm trying to think of something like that's very heavy and fast and everything. If you're opening for something like that, it's not going to be as accepted, I don't think. And maybe not as accepted, but I think it's going to be more like the Keening was last year, where everybody, maybe listens to the first song and then they're just going to chatter.
Well, with that Lamb of God example, I think that's exactly Baroness. I fell in love with Baroness at that Lamb of God show, and you're like, this does not fit the fucking lineup at all.
Right.
So that's exactly.
I think
it's the same thing you're saying.
I didn't think about Baroness being there at that one show, but
it's the exact same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
In any case, I fucking love these guys. I've listened to them more. We don't have anything on the set list because they weren't added on set list FM.
You found their material.
I've listened to their material more.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Dreadnought now. I was a huge fan of the Keening after that. I ended up buying their vinyl. I need to look for these guys' vinyl now as well.
Yeah.
I fucking loved Dreadnought. If you like the Keening, if you like that slower, more melodic, definitely sort of like a dreary kind of day and just kind of kick back and listen to some music, Dreadnought's fucking phenomenal. Check them out for sure.
Yeah. I would give them a second chance. I really would.
If it was a different...
You
said this.
No,
you said this with the Keening as well, that if it's a different venue, a different setting,
you
would enjoy it a little bit more.
Okay, so let's have the Keening opening with Dreadnought in the middle and then Mother of Graves headlining.
I mean, that would be a fucking sick show. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. That would be fucking awesome.
It'd just be keyboards all night long with the best at the top.
Yeah, for sure. But also I do like again, going back to the Emma God show and Baroness, I love when you throw in this curveball of like, this doesn't fucking fit, but it's great music. You're going to fall in love with it. I will, because I like exploring other types of music than just...
That was pretty good.
I can't do it again. Any case, yeah. Any case, and whatnot. So
thanks for listening. I'm sure we just lost a lot of our 3 listeners are just done now. Any hoodles. Then we get to Undergang. My note says good old fashioned death metal. Because like the whole night is just death metal, basically, like throughout the night. Band from Denmark.
Was this their first show or was that a different band?
That's a different band.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
I think it is this point, earlier in the night, we made our way back behind the soundstage.
We were standing behind the soundstage now, yeah.
And you were leaning on the rail. And then I think it was around this time my foot was just fucking killing me. And I like tapped you on the shoulder. And you ended up moving back. And I stood on the rail.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Because like, I needed to take the weight off my foot so bad.
Yeah.
And apparently there's a guy who like looked at me like, you fucking asshole. How dare you make a woman move out of like off the rail type thing.
Yeah. So I rubbed your back to let them know that I was not mad.
And then we're maybe together or something. I don't know. But
yeah,
I didn't mean it that way. It was more of like, I knew I could get if it was anybody else, I would have just like suffered it out. But because I knew it was like, she'll move over for me.
Yeah. Which was no big deal.
But also you weren't feeling the hottest at this point either.
I wasn't. I don't even know when I started not feeling well. Was it earlier in that day?
I don't know. You've mentioned your stomach hurting a lot throughout the day, and you thought it was like a piece of cake or something you ate. Something you ate during the day. Not the pizza at Black Sky. That was delicious, and I didn't have any problems whatsoever.
No. I liked the pizza a lot. I didn't eat it all just because I wasn't feeling the best. But yeah, I did wake up. I woke up hungry, and I think I had leftover cake from the piano bar. I don't think that's what made me sick, honestly. Talking to some coworkers, they thought maybe I had altitude sickness because it like was just kind of like on off sort of thing.
And we've been to Denver several times, and every time we go there, you don't really do well with the altitude anyway. Like your asthma and everything flares up.
It's very hard to breathe for me.
And like both of us are not in shape at all, so walking with limited oxygen is not great for us to begin with. Yeah. And then drinking beer on top of that for me, it's an interesting city for sure.
Right. So, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together with the altitude thing because I was like, whatever. I've been there. We've been there like 5 times?
Yeah, I think 5 times.
Yeah, and like I don't remember ever getting sick. Like I remember not being able to breathe or like walking is difficult, which is so crazy to say that walking is difficult, but whatever. Anyways, so. Yeah, so I think that's why we moved back to behind the soundstage. Was like I was just like I just want to get away from not away from people. That's the wrong way to say it, but like
our cat found his toy I hid.
Yeah, right now is a perfect time for that. So I think that's why we made our way back, and then you weren't feeling the best either because your foot was flared up.
Because we were hemming and hawing, or you were like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to stay.
I didn't want to miss Frozen Soul. I really, really, really like Frozen Soul. We've seen them 3 times now.
At least 3 times, if not 4 times. I think we only saw them once on the boat.
Only once on the boat, yeah.
Which I think looking back over the year was my favorite set of the year, because just the crowd, the energy of the crowd and their set was fucking insanely good.
Yeah.
So I was super excited to see this set as well.
I know. And we didn't even say it, but we ran into some headbanger.
We ran into a fuck ton of headbanger boat people there.
Yeah.
Because I wore my Headbangers sweater and a shirt from this year because Frozen Soul was on there. I think you were wearing a Headbangers something or other that day as well.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, if not, we ran into so many fucking people. I think one of the girlfriends from a member of the band was there. And we chatted to her. She was talking to a gentleman who was there as well. And he's like, I'm famous, right? I was like, really? He's like, I'm the 5-day guy.
Yeah.
I ended up finding you. I was like, so the 5-day guy's here. He's like, what? Are you shitting me? He's here?
It's so crazy how like these people that, I don't interact that much in the Facebook group, but like that I see their posts or like I interact or comment on things or whatever on Facebook, and then like be able to meet somebody in person is just, it's such a good community where it's like you kind of become friends with people. And
the 5-day guy, to like add context here, he was doing a countdown to the boat. And he missed one day. And people like freaking out, like, what happened to him? Where's he at? Where's he at? Talking to him here at the show, he's like, I took my daughter out school shopping or something.
And I was like, that's not an excuse.
He's like, people freak the fuck out.
Yes. Yeah. So next year will be fun to see him on the boat.
And there were a handful of other people too. There were a couple women on the other side of us on the behind the soundstage who were there. I was talking to the 5-day guy. A guy walks up and is like, did you go for year 1 or year 2? I was like, we were at both years. How about you? It's like, just year 1. Year 2, the lineup, maybe next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it was awesome to see so many. Like, I don't remember seeing any of these motherfuckers on the boat.
I know, yeah.
But you see them out in the wild, and it's like, you and I are now best friends, right?
Exactly. And I think that's like sorry, now we're going on another tangent, but
it also fits into this, like, it's the metal community as a whole.
That's what I was going to say. It's the metal community, because it's like you can just kind of have a conversation with somebody without feeling judged or like feeling like you have to like come up with something to talk about. It's just like you have a conversation.
You see somebody wearing a shirt, like, that's a fucking awesome shirt. I love that band. I saw them live with XYZ band.
Yeah.
And like, holy shit, I saw that show too. I saw that, Madison.
Yeah. We've talked to people and we're like, holy shit, we were actually at that show that you were at. Like,
we have a metal a metal Slack channel, and somebody was like, oh, I saw this. I can't remember what band it was. Like, I saw them in Milwaukee at the rave, and they were fucking awesome. I was like, was this the show on like February 2nd during a snowstorm? Yeah, I was at that show too. Like, those kind of things, right? Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And the Headbangers boat, it was just another way to like, meet not new people, obviously new people, but also people that we had we've been in same close quarters for a number of days.
Yes.
Same experiences, same shit we can talk about, and also learn about new shit that they're doing and discover more about them as people. Like, it's fucking awesome.
Like, to actually get the personal connection with people, with the community. Anyways, I think we went on that tangent to kind of say I wasn't feeling well.
I wasn't feeling well.
Almost vomited standing behind the soundstage. So we went outside to try to get me some fresh air. Did not work because they were grilling hot dogs or something.
It was the street vendors selling like I don't know who. It wasn't hot dogs. I don't want to say like a Mexican food, but it's like meat on a stick.
Meat on a stick of some sort. And I got a whiff of this. Anyways, I don't need to go into that, but I needed to leave. And
we'd seen Frozen Soul and Autopsy, even though it wasn't this special set for Autopsy. We saw them at Milwaukee Metal Fest this year. We've seen Frozen Soul a number of times.
I almost cried leaving though, because I wanted to stay so bad, but I'm like, I can't be here not feeling, or like it wasn't like just the point of not feeling well. It was like, I am going to throw up.
Yeah, and I was not necessarily like, let's fucking leave, but I was also like, my foot is killing me, so let's go. We walked up a block to like a 7-Eleven. Got you like Tums and shit, and they're like, all right, cool, we can get an Uber now, right? It was like 3 fucking blocks.
Yeah. So it's It's a half a mile, so it is more than 3 blocks, but it took us 3 minutes to get back. It was such a waste of an Uber ride.
It was, but I could not.
I know.
I was in such pain.
It's all good.
So that was day one.
Yeah.
Day one was great.
I am still kind of devastated that we missed Frozen Soul and Autopsy again. I think that those two would have made the night for me. I mean, I enjoyed all the bands, even Dreadnought a little bit with their last song that they played, but I enjoyed all the bands, and I think it just would have rounded out the night perfectly to have two death metal, like heavy death metal bands that have great songs. But
yeah, no, 100% agree. Necropanther was great. I do remember really loving their set. But Dreadnought stole the show for me. Even if we saw these two bands, it was Dreadnought for me. Dreadnought,
I mean, it's a new band for you. I think that's different. Like
it is.
It's hard for me when there's bands that we know, and maybe that's why I was more okay also leaving, was because I knew them. But also it's like it's hard to go to a show where you have great opening bands and then being like, oh, Frozen Soul was my favorite. Like of course you like them, sort of thing. So it's like choose the other ones. So.
Yeah. I guess that's it for day one. Day two, you still weren't feeling the greatest early in the day, so we spent a lot of time in the hotel just sort of relaxing. I did want to go out and check out like just a sports bar because the Iowa Cyclones were playing. Not a big Cyclones fan.
Iowa Cyclones were on the football field.
Sure, they didn't really play football. They tried to play something. I'm not sure what they played. It was a fucking disaster of a game. It was a Big 12 champion. Again, I'm not a Cyclones fan, but from Iowa, I wanted to root them on. They fucking sucked. But after that, we were going to go to Crypt, I think was the... Is it a brewery or is it just a brew pub? Or not a brew pub, but like a restaurant.
I don't know if it's like a bar or a brewery or like what it is, but I found it on Google, so that's what we were going to do.
We met a guy at Big Sky the day before who was... Black Sky. I keep saying Big Sky.
Oh, yeah.
Black Sky the day before, who was serving beer for them at
Decibel.
Yeah. Who also like runs Denver Doomfest, which we haven't been to.
No, but the guy that does Doom and Groom, that's always at Milwaukee Metal Fest, told us about Denver Doomfest. Like, so the whole world is just coming together. Like
Denver Doomfest sounds fucking phenomenal. This guy was super awesome. He's got like Kuma's connections as well.
Yeah.
Like we mentioned, we're from Chicago. He's from Chicago.
He's
so he's like
originally from Chicago, yeah.
Showing us videos and shit of him in Chicago, which was fucking awesome. Like, we just kind of like, I don't want to say we clicked, but like, we started that conversation like, all right, we're going to sit here and chat.
Again, it was an easy conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But he did also say that Crypt was a really cool spot. In any case, you weren't feeling the greatest, so we didn't hit that up at all. Right before we went to day two, we went across the street from the summit, which was One Up, I think it's called.
Yeah, One Up, yeah.
Arcade bar? Arcade bar, yeah. They had slushies I didn't see, adult slushies that I didn't see until we left. Like, fuck, I wanted one of those. But you're like, you get free beer across the street. Yeah. So like, all right, I'll go do that.
Well, we were getting ready to leave when you saw the slushies, but I think you were going to get another beer. Yeah. And I was like, hold on. We're leaving in 30 minutes. Do not spend money here when we've already paid for your beer at Decibel.
We did, yes.
So,
but still a super fucking cool spot.
Yeah.
You need to check that out.
It was really cool. And it's cool to be like right there because it's like, it does give you something to do so you're not standing outside. Right. So
I saw a lot of people who were going to the festival, even the like
the band
brewers and bands over there.
I was like, I saw somebody from one of the bands. I can't remember what band it was from, but like I just saw them like walking around in there.
Classic arcade games. By classic, I mean actual classic, and then also House of the Dead, and then a fuck ton of pinball.
Mostly pinball, yeah.
A lot of fucking pinball.
Yeah.
Which I love pinball, but I fucking suck at it. In any case, we did that beforehand. Then we went across the street again to get into the festival. We already went through who was going to be there, but let's, I guess, start with the first band, Oak and Ash and Thorn.
Oak and Ash and Thorn?
Oak, Ash, and Thorn. I put an extra and in there.
It was just funny.
It's Oak, Ash, and Thorn.
Yeah. So it was supposed to start at 4:30, I think.
I think so. It was 5:30 day one, 4:30 day two. Because again, it's Saturday, so more people probably are showing up.
There's a trend to Saturday, but basically it was about 15 minutes late when they came out, and I think it was almost 4:30. And you're like, they should be coming out soon. Like, and I was like, oh, I can see them in the back. Like they're right there.
So it's weird. I think I went to get a beer, and as I was getting a beer, they turned down the house lights again, or they dimmed them a bit. And I looked at my watch and like 4:30. I'm like, holy shit, they're like on point tonight. I need to hurry back to Karen. I got my beer and we hurried back over to you. And we stood there for another 15 minutes. But in between that 15 minutes, like one of the guitar players kept coming out and would like fidget with his gear and then go back and then come out and fidget with his gear. So yeah, I'm not sure what the cause. It seemed like everything was fine. Maybe a member was late or something. I don't know. But yeah, they were 15 minutes off schedule, which just compounded as the night went on.
Yeah. But anyways, so when they come out, it starts with like this pirate drinking song. Like that's their intro music.
Not Elstorm, or maybe we don't remember.
I don't think it was Elstorm.
It didn't feel like Elstorm, right?
No, but like that kind of music though, like a pirate drinking song. Oh, I guess, yeah, I'm not saying like the pirate drinking song like from Elstorm. I'm just saying like...
Oh, like a she shanty.
Yeah.
She shanty. She shanty?
Sea shanty.
Sea shanty.
Sea shanty.
Oh, whatever, whatnot.
Anyways. And so then they all like cheers the crowd like in a circle and then they start playing. And I was blown away right away with the power metal sound.
It felt very power metal.
Yes.
It felt... Honestly, I loved it. It felt weird as shit.
It did.
At this festival.
Yes, for an opener too. Like, so the last 2 years for Decibel, generally the first couple openers you'll get death metal and doom metal, and that's like all you get, and that's why I love it because it's like basically just like a weekend of doom metal that you don't really see that often at festivals. Yeah. Well, except for Denver Doom Metal Fest.
And honestly,
Denver's doom scene is crazy.
It is crazy, but Milwaukee Metal Fest is fucking insane too. With
yes,
the variety.
True. Yeah,
and going into that, but your mainstream sort of Danny Wimmer, you're not getting this
shit
there.
No.
You're getting that radio metal, and then a little bit like again, 1 or 2 levels deep. You're not going deep.
Yeah. So their whole set was just that fast power metal sound. According to Encyclopedia Metal Online, they are they're pagan folk metal, and I did not get that one single bit.
Maybe the context of the songs. I can see it from that aspect.
Okay, so I'm gonna call them pagan folk metal, power metal.
Pagan folk power metal.
Pagan folk power metal.
Pagan folk metal power metal. Yeah, that sounds weird. But pagan folk power
I get where
metal.
that extra metal in there.
Yeah.
But there was one point.
Double metal.
We even connected on this because there's one point during one of the songs where like they have like this like choreographed like hip movements that they do.
So all the guitar players get in like a straight line and the singer gets in a straight line and they do like the hip gyrations to the side, all in choreographed like.
And I immediately pull out my phone and Brian looks at me. He's like, the hip movements. Like I had to take a note of it. It was so funny, but so good.
It was great.
It was a fun way to start out the night, even though they were late and everything. It was just a fun way to start out the night. And we didn't say this. I was planning on going back to the hotel and staying there until about 7 and then coming back.
Because you still did not feel well.
I didn't feel well.
Because you wanted to see the end of the night and you wanted like, all right, I'll skip the first few bands.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this too. Like people who skip the first few bands, I don't understand why you do that. You pay for the whole fucking thing. Show up. You're going to find amazing bands at the beginning who are just starting their career. Yeah.
And I don't like skipping bands. I just didn't.
Yeah. Or just like they're not as popular, but they're going to be here and they're great fucking music, great acts.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for them? Because I have a couple things.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I do remember, and I remember thinking pretty vividly about this because I felt like the lead singer had such a, I want to say great presence, but like he had such a like frontman mentality to him.
Yeah.
And again, they started 15 minutes late, and it's like, what the fuck are you gonna like? Are you gonna have to cut something to get back on track on time? It didn't feel like it because all night long it seems like everybody got their normal set, and in between the songs there was a lot of crowd banter between him and the crowd between every fucking song, and he had such sort of like a not even charisma, it's just more of like, and not even arrogance, more of like, there's a, you know what I'm trying to say? Like he had this sort of showmanship about him that's like, you're the first opener of the band and you have this much sort of like, I'm the center of the stage type mentality or ego about you. And it felt weird, but at the same time it's like, but as a front man or a front person, you have to fucking have that sort of vibe about you. And at what point do you learn it? At what point do you, because we've been to shows where it's like, thank you for coming out to check us out. We're so grateful you're here. This wasn't that. It was like, you're welcome, we're here.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, you're welcome, we're here for you type thing, attitude.
Yeah.
And
I got that a little bit, but it wasn't, I didn't really get it as much while he was performing, or while they were performing, not him, but they were performing. But then afterwards, when you made the comment, I was like, you're right, he did. Like,
but it's weird for like your very first band. Typically, that's the newer of the bands who are out there doing that, and they did seem sort of younger, for sure. I don't know how long they've been a band, but and it just made me think like, all right, well, what time do you, or when in your career do you start with that ego or that attitude, and when do you start presenting it? Thinking about like Avatar, for instance, every time we've seen Avatar, Johannes has had that same sort of mentality about him, a very similar mentality. And we've seen them as openers, and they have that same mentality. And we've seen them as headliners. They have that same mentality. Like do you smell that? I smell that. Like that sort of like act about what you're doing, because you are putting on a show.
Yeah.
So it just felt very weird for a first band, but I loved it. I really did love it. It just made me think more of that from like a holistic point of view. I don't know if that's the right word, but like, looking at other bands, like, when do you need to stop being so like, thank you for being here, we really enjoy you being here type thing.
I think some bands just learn it. Some bands never get it. I mean, we've seen some headliners where they don't have that. Like, it's more just play.
Vinden's another example. Griffin's out there and he's like, thank you. Like, he definitely picked up on his father's cues for sure.
Corey Taylor says this line, Griffin says this line, which is absolutely fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's the same persona, in my opinion. He learned it.
That's a good way.
But he grew up learning
That's a good way. Persona. Like, if you want a persona from a front person, there are some clear motherfuckers up there at the top. Corey's one of them. James is one of them. So, like, Till's one of them. Like, you can call it as many as you want. There's clear personalities up top. And if you want to mimic somebody, like, there's a reason they're up top, because they put on a great fucking show. Yeah. So I just want to say they put on a great fucking show. It felt weird for a first opener, but it did make me think like, well, if they weren't the opener, they were the second band, would I think the same thing? At what point do I stop thinking like, first band should act this way type thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, old man. I feel like you're just doing your old man grumpy bit right now.
I am.
Because I think they brought great energy, and I was happy that I did not go to the hotel.
No, agreed. I thought this band was fucking awesome. I loved them so much. So, and they're from Denver as well.
Yes, they are. I don't have every band from Denver listed, I don't think. Maybe I do.
They were fucking awesome, and I just thought their show as a whole was fucking great for sure.
Yeah. No,
it just felt, again, is a weird feeling I had. It made me think. It was a show that made me think, and I like that.
You like to think?
I do like to think.
I don't.
Glacial Tomb, the band that I thought were teenage kids, but were actually like middle-aged old men, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm really bad with age also. I'm bad with a lot of fucking shit.
Yes.
Math and age and words are all of them and whatnot.
Cool.
I forced that in.
So we're at the second band. We're now 30 minutes behind on schedule.
For this podcast?
No, for the show or for the night.
Oh, and also maybe this podcast?
I mean, God, this has went on for like 2 hours and it's ridiculous.
Glacial Tomb.
So they had that great death metal riffs in the guitars and everything. I mean, we saw them last year, but I don't really remember their set last year.
I don't either, no.
But when they opened with that great death metal sound, it was awesome I mean, granted, like I said, Decibels that we've been to has been doom, doom, doom for the last couple of years, and now it's been death, death, death. Like...
Well, so the first year for sure was a fuck ton of doom.
Yeah.
And then, last year was a little bit less.
It was half and half, yeah.
This year, there really hasn't been a whole lot of doom. No. It's been a lot of death metal for sure.
So Glacial Tomb, I don't have very much on them, but they tried so hard to get the crowd moving. And I think they even made the comment of like, I know you're hungover from yesterday. Like, let's get going sort of thing.
My foot was feeling a little better today for sure.
But you're not going to be in a pit anyways.
Also that I am for real. So, yeah.
But, yeah, like you said that in a way of like, well, I wasn't feeling the best, so I couldn't move.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like you're the whole crowd.
Yeah, 100%. They all had foot problems.
I mean, we are all getting older in age, so it's harder to
It is kind of funny because we did see a guy who was there in the pit the first year, and the first night you're like, that was the guy the first year. He was there again, and he looked much older than I remember him looking the first year.
Like the first year, I just remember him going so hard, and he would like be pushing people, and like he was just so aggressive in the pit. Last year, I remember seeing him, but we weren't near the pit last year. We were more like in the crowd, so I don't know what his demeanor was. This year, I saw him a lot, just like walking back and walking forth, like back and forth, back and forth. So I'm like, I don't think he's in the pit this year, but yeah, I remember that guy too. He was there all 3 years, but so anyways, Glacial Tomb. Yeah, that's all I had. Sorry.
I thought they were a different band.
Yes, yeah.
I thought they were those young kids and whatnot. And I remember liking them last year, the young kids. I remember liking them last year just because I remember there was nobody I did not dislike outside of like one band.
The Noise.
Ken
Noise.
Ken Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
And mainly because they brought a saxophone out and I couldn't hear a fucking sax. So
it was just a bunch of noise on the stage.
It's fine. Let me hear the sax. Like why have it out there if I can't fucking hear it? There were actually like 2 or 3 bands last year with saxophones.
Oh, was there?
I remember think so. 2. Symphonic Carnage, I think, also had a sax. And I think there's one other one maybe. I can't remember. At least 2. Yeah. But at least for Symphonic Carnage, we could hear the sax. Then you couldn't really pick it up. And even when you listen to them, because I listened to them I listened to them recorded afterwards. And couldn't really pick up the sax all that much either.
Nobody had a saxophone this year.
No saxophones, which I love the weird instruments. So
the weird. A saxophone's not weird. Well, it is for metal.
Yes, exactly. But, the non-traditional, whatever. Earth Burner is next.
Then we get to Earth Burner. We were on the stage left, kind of near the front, if you remember. Like, not like on the rail, but like 4 rows back, maybe.
Stage left. About halfway up, and they're from Chicago, right?
They are. When they said Chicago, like we were like, yeah, like. Nobody else made any noise, so but whatever.
Which we need to check them out now because we found out there's a lot of great fucking Chicago music this year.
Holy shit, yeah, we found.
And hopefully next year we can find out more.
So they say they're grindcore. I think they're more deathcore, but I don't know the difference. So
definitely a core band for sure. Yeah. I could see the deathcore, but also I can kind of see grindcore.
Yeah, they introduced themselves as a grindcore band from Chicago.
Do they? Okay. I remember thinking deathcore, and then they maybe had said grindcore at one point. It was like, okay, I can see that.
So I have in our notes. I don't know who it was from Napalm Death, but somebody from Napalm Death joined them for a song.
I think so. They did say they were doing a cover, and even on Setlist FM, there were 2 Napalm Death covers that they did.
Okay. I don't know Napalm Death music that much.
I don't either. So I used to hate Napalm Death until the boat this year. Yeah. And I was like, I actually am starting to really enjoy your shit. I think
since we saw them back in like 2017, 18-ish here
early.
In Chicago, like our mindset on music has changed so much where we're not more accepting, but like we've just, it's not the same 5 bands anymore. It's like we've opened our minds.
And you kind of like start to understand what the band is doing.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think Napalm Death, you were like, it's just noise. Like it doesn't sound like anything. I mean, they do have the shortest song ever.
I do like that, yeah. They did that on the boat, and they're like, all right.
Oh, really?
Did you guys not get that? We'll do it again. And they're like, all right, here's the second shortest. They're differently symphonically if you just listen to them, because you have and like it was a blast on the boat. Yeah. And like it's kind of them making fun of themselves and like. I understood what they were doing, happening. And it makes me enjoy it so much more.
Yeah.
Earth Burner, I enjoyed their set. I did. Knowing they're from Chicago, I think I enjoyed it more.
Maybe, yeah. They had a really, really good pit going, too, during their entire set. So I think the pit maybe opened up during Glacial Tomb towards the end.
Yeah.
But it was just, like, really, really good going. And during the last song, the bassist even jumped down and, like, got in the pit and was, like, fucking people up. Like he was really going hard, which was awesome.
You get the pit going a little bit harder and then get back up on stage. Yeah. Their set was great. Probably honestly one of the best sets so far that we've seen during this particular year. And maybe looking forward all year long because we were closer to it.
We were, yeah. I think it really like where you are in the crowd and what's happening around you and stuff could potentially make it or break or make a difference. So Then we get to Pallbearer.
No. Crip Sermon.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
So yeah, somehow you didn't take notes on Crip Sermon.
I don't know how I missed them. They were the band that I wanted to see the most because I thought they were a doom metal band.
Oh, really?
And I don't know where I got that from or if I just wanted them to be.
Okay.
Because of their name.
We did add them to the playlist, and I listened to them, like I said yesterday, or like I said earlier, I listened to them yesterday. They have like an old school metal kind of sound to them, for sure. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Like I don't want to say like a black or death metal old sound, but maybe like this was black metal in the 80s or some shit, or death metal in the, like not even the 80s, like the 70s.
But they have, I mean, it's, yeah, like a...
But it's got that old school sound
yeah,
to it.
But it has like a faster pace and more melodic vocals and stuff like that. It's not like a death metal. It's not like a growling death metal. Very satanic lyrics and everything. Yeah. I listened to a few of the lyrics that night. Well, we both listened to the lyrics, but I was trying to catch up on, or like catch them. Very satanic, like I'm saying religious satan. Well, I guess.
See, and I don't listen to the lyrics that much, so I wasn't paying attention. I was listening to more of the music, and it had again that old school sort of priest maiden sort of sound to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like a maiden sound. Yeah, yes, definitely. Yeah.
Not that I wasn't like the biggest fan of them, but again, I think this was the first of the old school sort of sounds. Maybe one the day before, I can't remember, but it felt very weird, very similar to like Dreadnought and Keening, right? Where this feels out of place for what I expect for black metal, death metal, and doom metal.
It was definitely different than what I expected because I wanted them to be a doom metal band. I wanted them to come out with cloaks.
Yeah.
And like just doom it out. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but
who is the band at Dillinger Escape Plan this year we both loved?
I don't remember their name.
Secret Chiefs 3?
Something like that.
Is that what it is? They came out and they were like, we thought they were druid metal or like druids.
Yeah.
Or elves or something, but they came out and they were very doomy sounding, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
They fit perfectly, I think, into this. This kind of Crip Sermon felt weird. All right, battery died again. Not sure where we left with Crip Sermon, although, like, just wrapping it up, I guess. Very sort of old school sound. Kind of surprised me that they were there, basically.
Yeah. Then we get to Pallbearer. Finally, proper doom metal.
I forgot all about Pallbearer until listening to the set list yesterday.
Yeah.
And, like, holy fuck, I love these guys.
Yes.
Like, this is so fucking good.
Yes. That's all I have on my notes.
Just doom metal, proper
doom metal. And going back to what I was saying, I think it's because I consider Decibel with doom metal.
I do too.
And this year we just didn't have it as much as we have in the past. So it was great to finally have that proper doom metal.
And it's when I was adding these to the set list, I'm going through and I'm adding the songs and whatnot. And the first track we added for them was 12 minutes long. And at that point, I was like, oh shit, this is Doom. I forgot all about these guys.
Oh, so they only played like 5 songs?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because it is 12 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes.
But it was perfect. Like,
it's so good.
Sometimes we hear songs and I'm like, is this song fucking over? I never once had that thought during their set.
Doom metal, I think, is probably my new favorite. And I've said this a couple years ago. Doom metal's like up there.
I think after
genres of metal.
Maybe we had heard some doom metal before Decibel 2022, but that year just got me into doom metal so much.
There was so much doom metal that first year too, and they were all from Denver. I remember that. Like, in the Company of Servants come on, and they're now on like my smoking playlist. They're I can't remember what song it is, Into the Mouth of or Mountain of something or other. I was like, fuck, this is awesome. We're a Denver doom metal band. The next band comes up. I can't remember who it is. We're a Denver doom metal band. We're a Denver doom metal band. That was like the theme of the night.
Yeah.
So yeah, our first like proper doom metal, and we didn't like. Don't get me wrong. I love the death metal. I love the black metal.
Yeah.
But I want doom metal. I'm coming here for doom metal, and there really wasn't as much this year. And then Pallbearer comes on, I'm like, fuck yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to like. I think even during Pallbearer a few times, I just like when I hear doom metal, I just want to like close my eyes and just like soak it in. Like that's what I think of. It's just like relaxing and soaking it in sort of thing.
So that's Dreadnought. That is fucking Dreadnought. No, like it's more.
No, it's different.
Atmospheric. You want to kick back and just relax.
I don't want the melodic sound though. I want like the dread of the guitar and stuff. I don't want like we're just different in that way.
I guess so.
Yes.
To me, Dreadnought, I get what you're saying, but Dreadnought to me is very, very, very similar to like the doom metal. They're like a genre or subgenre, like one tick up or down from doom metal, but they're right on that level of doom metal. No,
it's just not something I want to listen to.
Paul Bearer was fucking awesome. Looking back and listening to the set list again, like holy fuck, these guys were awesome.
Yeah. Then we get to Cirith Ungol. I may be saying that incorrectly.
You most definitely are.
So we did meet a person there that came from LA, and this was the band that got them to come to Decibel.
Night 1. Did we meet them night 2?
I saw them night 2.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Them, but night 1, yeah. But,
yeah. Night 1 we talked to a lot of fucking people. Night 2 we didn't talk to shit. Like we didn't.
No.
Yeah, but night 1 was like most of the talking for sure.
Yeah. So at this point we're now 30 minutes late on the set times.
Gotcha.
So, but anyways, they're a old band formed in 1971.
Yeah.
This was their first ever and last ever show in Denver. So they must be doing like a farewell tour or like a.
Yeah.
They never really said it. They never said anything about like, we're done touring or whatever.
Was it our last show or was it more our latest show in Denver?
No. So this first and last show was not announced at Decibel. It was in like an announcement that was posted by Decibel when they announced the festival.
Oh,
that's how I found this.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if they were on like their farewell tour or what was going on, but
again, like a very old sound to them. Not old sound, but like classic metal sound.
So you said wannabe Judas Priest. I wrote that down in my notes. All
right,
and I don't think it's really the wannabe Judas Priest. It just had that sound, and the persona on stage.
And wannabe Judas Priest isn't right. It's more of like a Judas Priest meets a death metal, black metal in the 70s sort of sound to it, I guess is what I was going for.
Death metal in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah. But with like a Judas Priest sort of attitude to it.
Okay.
It definitely felt very priesty or Judas Priesty.
The sound does.
Yeah,
but I mean, from 1971, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yep.
It's not going to be the 2000s death metal or, like early 90s death metal.
It's fucking weird because who is like the king or the founder of metal? If I asked you name one person who is the godfather of metal, who would you say?
Ozzy.
Exactly. Everybody fucking says Ozzy. If you ask Ozzy that, Ozzy will tell you, I read an interview where he's like, I'm not metal. I don't know why people think I'm metal. I listen to metal music that's out today. I don't sound anything like that.
But it's it's like the time period.
It evolves. It grows. Yes. So like.
How do you think you got to 58 fucking genres of metal? Like.
Right.
It's not one sound. And I think that's, honestly, the problem with people who aren't into metal. Maybe not the problem, but that's one of the reasons why it's harder for people to get into metal. They might find one band or one song that they like, but then they go, oh, I like metal. And then they go and listen to, I don't know, I'm going to just throw something out there like, even like a Slipknot or like even something mainstream. And they're like, oh, this is fucking horrible.
Do Linkin Park Crawling. A hybrid from Hybrid Theory, like a new metal album, new metal and new metal, and give that to somebody, a family member, my mom, your aunt, or somebody like that, and like, ooh, I really like this. This is good. It's definitely heavier than I'm normal, but it's good. I like it. Give them that, and then you give them Rain and Blood. Like
exactly.
No, those aren't the same thing, but they kind of sort of are.
Where
right?
If you listen to. I'm going to throw it out there. If you listen to Taylor Swift, every single fucking song sounds exactly the same.
But to a fan, it isn't.
And then listen to I can't remember her name, like Megan something. Every song sounds fucking the same. But to a fan, yes.
Yeah,
it could
to
be,
a fan, it doesn't.
It's
Same
different.
thing with a Metallica fan. Like, no, Ride the Lightning is slightly different than Kill 'Em All. You can definitely tell the difference.
I'm not that deep of a fan to know the difference.
Yeah, but I guess what I was more going to is look at that, and now let's think 10, or fuck that, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, what does metal sound like?
Yeah.
Like,
but even
metalcore right now is super fucking big.
Yeah. But I was going to say,
it's going to die out real soon, I think.
Listen to metalcore in the early 2000s and listen to metalcore 2024. They sound different.
They do. Like, Hate Breeds metalcore. It's like, it's not fucking metalcore. What the fuck are you talking about? But it is.
And so it's still Kill Switch Engage. Like, it's metalcore.
No, it's not
yes,
metal.
It is.
No,
yes,
fuck
it is.
That shit.
Yes, it is.
Anywho, we're getting way the fuck off track right now.
Yeah. What were we even talking about? The Judas Priest sound or the old sound.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say old, I mean they're even the lead vocalist is even older.
Right. But this is about the time I started to appreciate them and Crip Sermon, because at the time I was at the show, I was like, this just feels fucking off and weird to be here. But at the same time, if you probably ask these bands ahead of them on the schedule or night one, if they listened to them, they were like, yeah, they were like our influence. They're what helped us become who we are. It's like, you don't sound anything fucking like that. How is that possible?
I don't think Crip Sermon would be in that.
No, but
because they were like formed in like 2013.
Whatever. You know what
I get what you're saying.
You know
like
what
the
I'm trying to say.
The sound. Yeah.
Where it's like,
okay.
It's like, sure, these bands, these early bands, even though they aren't the same quote unquote genre, even though they are but aren't, they did sort of influence who we are, the bands, who they are, and their sound, and like it's part of the progression.
But it's also the fun of going to something like Decibel, which is maybe even better than year one, where it was all doom and death metal, where it's like you're getting this, each band kind of sounds different.
Yeah, that's weird, because I do always talk about how I like festivals and like concerts or like band bills to be like very unique and different. This time, not so much. You
wanted the death and doom.
I did.
Metal.
I really came in expecting that.
Yeah.
I like it when I come in not expecting it, and you just kind of like slip it in. Like, ooh, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah, I think last year so the first year, like I said, was doom death, basically the whole 2 nights. And then last year, I think on Saturday, they kind of played around with it because like
especially with the keening, I think.
Oh, with everything, with Ken Noise, with Red Chord, with the keening, with I can't remember what the name is. The other one, Agalith. No, that's not how you say that. But anyways, it was just Saturday was just a different night.
Yeah.
Where Friday last year was
definitely the doom
metal. So
I mean, you were closing with a doom metal band, Chemist, local band too, right?
Yeah, and nobody stayed for Chemist, but
which is fucking bullshit.
But it was also because we were able to like be like second from the stage,
and they didn't play in the Pines. Motherfuckers, I have not heard that song.
They'll never play that live.
I don't think they will. No, we listened to the original track of that on the way home one day.
That was crazy because we never heard of
an old 30s.
Yes.
That song fucking sucks.
Yeah. Good thing.
And then Chemist comes out there and like, oh, we can do this better. Yeah, you fucking can.
Yeah, so much better.
Tell you what, Chemist, just go back through the 30s and grab all that shit and redo it. You're good.
Yeah. Then we get to like 41 minutes. No, we're probably at 47 minutes behind on schedule. Almost an hour behind on schedule.
So we did a 666 on this. I don't know if it'll be posted before this or after this, but it will be posted
It'll be
sometime.
after. It'll be next Monday.
Possibly. It'll be at some point in the future. But we did a whole thing on set times and how we knew the set times because they published them ahead of time.
Yeah.
And our big, not concern, but my thought was twofold. One, are you going to have to cut people because of like curfews and whatnot?
Because some cities have curfews or like you have to be done by a certain time or whatever, or you get fined or blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Or you don't know what the deal with the venue is type thing. So if somebody going to get cut and you're already 40 minutes late, like you're supposed to be off the stage in 5 minutes and you're just now starting. And also, again, we weren't feeling the greatest this entire weekend. So I had mentally checked out once I had known the time that they were supposed to be done. Like, you're done at 11:30 and like, all right, it's time to go back home and I can fall asleep.
Which is crazy because I wanted to stay and you're like, nope, we're going to listen to a couple songs and we're leaving.
I was fucking done.
I know.
I did not sleep good. My foot hurt.
It's fine.
I'm trying. I'm not now making excuses.
Yeah.
But
so unfortunately, Yob, I thought we stayed for like 3 songs, but you added them to the playlist, and their songs are also like 12 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes long.
Which fucking sucks because they were fucking awesome.
Yeah, the first song that we heard, like I remember being like, "Oh, this is really good," and I wanted to stay, but you were ready to go, so.
Very doom metal, like long, drawn out doom. Very, very Sun O-esque.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Sun O.
Yeah.
With a lot more lyrics than Sun O.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So we should have stayed.
We should have.
Anyways, that's our comment on Yob because... Oh, do you have another comment?
I do. I added one song. So when I was adding them to the playlist, there were a couple songs where it's like the 2018 or 2021 mix of the songs. And... I don't know what the fuck I'm adding. So as I'm walking home yesterday, I'm listening to one, and clearly I think I got like the 2021 mix because there's a lot more sort of synth.
Oh, really?
With that mix.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking weird as shit to listen to.
That'd be interesting.
So I don't think I got the right mix. It's really cool, but again, it's a very long song.
Yeah.
So halfway through, it's like, no, like I was expecting doom again, but I didn't get doom. I got more like the synth, and I was like,
that'd be interesting to have stayed.
I don't like this.
Yeah, to stay and like see what it was like live.
Yeah, and not that I don't like it. It was really cool, but again, my mindset was like, I want doom.
It's different than the other songs.
Yeah, it wasn't a downer. It was an upper, and I didn't want an upper. I wanted a downer at that point in the night.
Yeah. So that is the bands from Decibel Metal and Beer Fest 2024 Denver.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about the music. I want to talk briefly on the beer.
No.
No,
go ahead. You can talk about the beer.
I had a few favorites. Every year there's a few like standouts, like, oh, this is really good. I think last year, I don't know if it was the Keening, but there's like a peanut butter chocolate beer that I loved.
I think that might have been the Keening.
I think so.
The collab. Because so we didn't really say this, but a lot of times the breweries have a collab with a band.
Which I do want to know a lot more about the collabs and how that works.
Yeah.
If it's sort of
like an actual collab, or
like
just
you're
putting
the band
their
on
name
the brewery, like what do you like? What ingredients do you like? Or
they just put their name on it.
Or they just show up and like, I'm going to help stir the pot this one day type thing.
Or it's just like, we need this to come together, so we're going to put your name on it.
Exactly. Something like that. Yeah. So I'm really curious on how collab, and I'm assuming
hopefully it's the first one where they can actually like give some input or like.
Honestly, it's probably different across depending on who you're doing. Because I mean, Three Floyds does a collab with Amon Amarth. I don't think they're flying over from Sweden that often to come and help like make the beer or make the recipe type thing. So I don't know. I think it's very different between people. But anywho,
when I say collab, I wasn't meaning like come over and actually like brew the beer. I was.
I meant that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of it more of like, okay, this is what our music sounds like. This is what our taste in beer is, or like this is what, and then like they kind of make it to go together to be like this smooth taste will go great with this doom music.
Yeah, that could be fun for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Gotcha. Again,
I don't drink beer though.
You do not. It could be a bunch of different shit going on, right? One thing they did, I think it was the Meadery, did a collab with Mother Graves.
Yes, and they played last year.
And they're playing next year at
in Philly, yeah.
Which I'm assuming this Brimminghorn. No,
Brimminghorn, like a horn.
Yes. And brimming with mead.
Yes.
I understand the two words separately. Adding them together, I struggle with. But Mother Graves was not there, and they brought their collab for night one. They did do two separate or multiple separate meads each night. I fucking loved the meads. The meads were probably my favorite out of everything I did. There was a double IPA up top somewhere. I did go up there a couple times night two to get a bunch of that, and that was very, very tasty. It was bottle conditioned, and every time I went up there, I got the bottom.
Yeah, one time I was like, ooh, there's stuff in your beer.
You definitely get the floaties if you get the bottom, and every time I went up there, somehow I got the bottom of the can. So I got floaties every time, but it was super fucking tasty. One of my biggest disappointments this year, looking forward to our year-end review that we'll do here in a couple of weeks, is not going to the Dark Lord days.
Well, it's kind of hard.
Because it was Milwaukee Metal Fest, yeah. But I did buy the beer, and I got it, and I got chemtrail mix. I don't know if this is this year's or last year's, but whatever, chemtrail mix I got. I didn't get the Hanji, which is my favorite. It's everybody's favorite. And when we got the beer, we picked it up, and I looked through the allotment that I picked up. I was like, fuck, no Hanji. That's fine. I will go to Milwaukee Metal Fest, because the last 2 years, not Milwaukee Metal Fest, Denver Beer and Metal Fest, Metal and Beer Fest, they have had Hanji every year. So that's fine. I know I'm guaranteed to get as much Hanji as I want in Denver. And I show up this year, and they did not have it. They had chemtrail mix instead of Hanji. And I was like, fuck.
Sorry.
Whatever. I'll drink chemtrail mix. It's fine. Going into this year as well with the beer, I did see an announcement somewhere. I don't know if it was Instagram or where it was, but they had mentioned there are going to be some high alcohol content beers that you will have to get tickets for, and those are the only way you can get those beers. They did not do that. Every beer festival says that, where you're going to get punch cards, you're going to you can only have so many samples. Every fucking beer festival you go to does that. None of them actually follow. You just walk up, here's my cup, can I have a sample, please? And they, yep, here you go. Outside of the one in Vancouver from the Loading Ready Run people that we watch, that they go to, they actually have the tokens that they give in.
Well, you haven't ever been there, so.
We haven't, no. That'd be a lot of fun to do someday. If we can figure it around a concert, that'd be awesome. And get finances to go up there.
Right. I was like, that's on the other side of the country.
It is.
It's not like going to Toronto, like straight
Other
up.
side of the country and in a different country.
Yes. Yeah.
The
other side of the continent. How about that?
There we go. Any hoodles. So I walked into this like, fuck, are they actually going to enforce this year? Because last year during Mother of Graves, the second fucking band on night 2, if you remember it, there was one guy who was already fucking out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the only year I've seen them mention, like, you have to have tickets to get these beers.
Yeah. And they didn't do it, though.
They did not do it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I feel like for being a metal and beer fest, like, the people that are here are, outside of that one guy last year, I mean, I don't feel like people come here to get drunk.
No,
like,
I
everybody's
agree with that.
very,
yeah.
I'm going to say well behaved, but I think you know what I mean. Like, it's not this case of like, oh, I get free beer all night, so just down in beer. Like, people, I think, do what you do. And like during the bands or during the breaks, they'll go get a couple samples. And then during the bands, they're just enjoying the music. Where I think if it was like a different vibe where it's more beer focused and then the band is kind of like off to the corner or what, not like a concert setting, but like kind of just like off to the corner or like playing music, it would be more like, I'm just going to drink for 7 hours straight.
Think of like a band playing at a bar or something. It's like just background noise, basically, or the music above, like over the PA system, right? Agreed. And I think we've said this the last year we did this podcast of this, like, it's a weird fucking vibe to mix these two together, but it somehow fucking works.
Oh, I don't think it's weird.
I do. Because I've been to beer festivals and you get the people who get fucking sloshed as shit.
Yeah.
I go to beer festivals, and I don't think I go super, super overboard, but I go a little bit overboard for sure. I'm the one who is thinking I don't go overboard. She's the sober one who clearly knows I don't go overboard. Anywho.
That you do. Anyways, I think they go really good together because of the breweries that they pick.
Yes.
That
that does help.
Metal focused or metal named focused or something like that.
Yeah, that does help.
And I think it vibes very well.
Yeah, but those two communities I don't think necessarily go hand in hand in my head.
Okay.
But then thinking of like Dark Lord Days is another one that does this.
Sound Growler.
Sure, but they don't do, I don't know, sometimes.
They do concerts and or like a birthday festival.
They do, and that's a lot of fun. I do get pretty sloshed at that though.
Oh, those are full size beers, not
those exactly.
Samples.
But exactly.
But anyways,
you go to a beer festival to do the beer. You go to a music festival to hear the beer or hear the beer.
Okay, you've had a whole chemtrail. Is that what that's called?
Chemtrail mix. Yeah, I've had a lot of that tonight. I don't know. It's always felt weird to me mixing these two things together, but somehow it always comes together really, really well, and I love that for that. But I did go over my top beers that I tried. I did not try everything. I said try a lot there. I try to consume, mixing words here. I try to
sample.
That word. I try to sample all of the collabs as much as I can. This year, I didn't necessarily keep up with it as much.
Yeah. Hopefully you did not do the one by Incantation Brewing.
You saw
Live
that.
Nation.
I did not do that.
They had a freaking Live Nation collab.
Yeah, which just is a Live Nation venue. But that was weird as shit to see a Live Nation
When I saw that,
collab.
I'm like, you are not trying that.
I did not try that.
Like,
yeah.
Granted, with that one, I'm pretty sure Live Nation did not come to their brewery and like sit down and collab. I think they put a name on it.
No, the entire company came.
I'm sorry.
That was fucking weird.
I don't care. I don't care who you are or what your brand is or whatever. Like, if you collab with Live Nation for anything, you're rotten. Like, just don't.
I did try their other beers; they were decent, but yeah, that felt very dirty and kind of weird. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? You realize Live Nation's not cool, right?
Right.
That was weird. Before we get into our favorite bands, our favorite sets, and festival ranking, because it is a festival.
Oh yeah.
One thing that was different year 2 from year 1 was Pull the Plug patches, where I get a lot of my patches, especially for my Boat Fest, did a unique patch for every band last year.
Was it for every band or just a few bands?
I think it was for every band.
Okay.
And it was advertised pretty hard. Like, maybe it was just the bands we were following, but like Mother Graves was like, come check out our merch table because we'll have a special limited edition patch. Chemist did the same thing. Everybody seemed to have a unique patch from Pull the Plug. I did not see as much promotion around it this year, but this week, Pull the Plug sent an email out like, we have a new drop coming, and so many of their patches have the little Denver Beer and Metal Fest logo next to them.
Oh, okay.
So I think they did the same thing this year. It just didn't feel as much advertised as it did the year before.
I see.
Getting into favorite bands, favorite sets. Do you have any standouts for you for this festival? That we've just wrapping it up
doing
again.
It.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer was probably my favorite set of the entire time. Favorite logo would be
Necropanther.
Necropanther.
Nethro Kitty.
Yes. Paul Bearer just was awesome.
Paul Bearer, Yob, and
I can't judge Yob. I only heard like 1.5 songs. So
right. I did listen to them a lot on the playlist. I did love them. And the 1.5 songs we were there live for, I loved. Paul Bearer for sure was like, holy shit.
Oh, Oak and Ash. Like, just to start off.
Yeah.
I mean, because I wasn't feeling well on Saturday. So to start out the night 2 with Oak and Ash, I was just like, oh, I'm so glad
That's a good
came.
call out. Yeah. Dreadnought for me as well. If I had to pick the 3, it'd be Paul Bearer, Yob, Dreadnought, and then Oak, Ash, and Thorn.
Yeah. Last year there was a lot of bands where I'm like, I will never listen to that band again. Like, I'm not going to go to the concert. Oh yeah, Ken Noise.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
And even like Red Chord, everybody's going crazy for Red Chord. I'm like,
I did enjoy Red Chord quite a bit.
Not my thing. And even like I can't say their name, but the headliner from Night 2 last year. I
loved them. They were so good.
I just didn't care for it. I didn't care for Night 2 last year. It was not my thing. But this year I liked everything. Even Dreadnought, I did not mind them. Are they something I'm going to listen to? No. But it wasn't something I'm like, oh my God, I don't like this. I'm never going to listen to this again.
Okay. Wrapping it up real quick, our festival ranking. Throw those up on the screen right now. For me, our top 12, because that's all we've been to. Eventually we'll cut this down to the top 10. So for some past festivals, we have split them, like Chicago Open Air 2016-17. Clearly they're the same thing, but 2019 was different. Same thing with Knotfest.
And what we mean by different is like it's the same festival name, but like the years were totally different. Like our experience was totally different.
The way they structured the festival, how it came together was just so different.
Yeah.
My first question for you is, does this year's Beer and Metal Fest in Denver differ than the past 2 years in a significant way?
No.
So I would agree with that. I would keep those lumped together. So it's going to be Beer and Metal Fest 2022 to 2024.
Yep.
Right now,
fix it for the Metal and Beer Fest.
Yes, I do need to fix our list. Do right now they're both at number 5 for us. Do you keep yours at number 5 or do you move it up? Do you move it down?
I would move it up. I think it's above Riot Fest now. Riot Fest in my mind is kind of ugh.
I think I'm the same way, and I'm not sure if that's because we haven't been to Riot Fest in a number of years, or if it's just we've grown out of it a bit.
Well, I mean, we've only been twice.
Yeah.
But in my mind, if I'm going to go to a festival and enjoy it like I do Chicago Open Air 2016-17, Headbangers Boat, Milwaukee Metal Fest, Decibel, and down the line, I want it to be metal focused. In my opinion, Riot Fest, there's a lot of, I'm just going to go find a tree to sit under because there's no bands playing right now that I want to listen to. I might listen to 2 or 3 songs and then I go kind of relax sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Riot Fest is definitely all over the place in terms of genres.
Yeah.
And especially.
And the fan base is totally different.
Yes, it's definitely not metal focused. It's definitely punk or indie focused.
This year had a really good metal lineup on Sunday.
On one day though, right? Again, for those single day tickets.
Yes. Which is okay. I mean, it's okay to have the different genre, the different like vibe and stuff. I'm just saying from what I enjoy, which is what this list is.
Agreed. I'm with you. I think I'm moving mine up as well to number 4. I still think Open Air 2016, 2017, they're sort of like the golden crown for me of festivals, and mainly because that was our first one.
Maybe.
And it set our mindset of what a festival could and should be.
Yeah.
Headbangers Boat is a fucking Headbangers Boat. Like,
I know.
It's its own thing. And this year, honestly, this year's Headbangers Boat really was not that good.
There's a lot of things that was not the best. If this was my first year, like if this was our first year going, I would have been like, they need some work. Like they need some help. But knowing how last year was and how great it was, and the people, it's like the whole vibe is so good. But yeah, I agree with you.
And that's the thing for me, is definitely the people. Like, even though the show wasn't that great, we met amazing fucking people and spent so much more time this year talking and hanging out with people that we didn't do last year.
Yeah.
And so, I'm really enjoying that a lot.
Yeah. But I agree with you. If this was our first year, I'd be like, no, it's not ran very well. Like, you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't be. That would be number 5 in my list right now. But it's not. Milwaukee Metal Fest, come on, that's just fucking insane.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever taking Headbangers Boat because it's fucking Headbangers Boat. Yeah. It's so fucking different.
I haven't switched. I don't know why I haven't switched.
You do, yeah.
But to me, like, those top festivals are, I mean, it's hard to rank them. Like, sort of thing.
But after you get like done with 1, 2, and 3, now we can jostle. And as we're seeing, we both jostled with Denver coming up for us. Yeah, I had a blast again this year.
Yeah.
Do they do it again next year? Do we go next year?
Yeah.
I think we've talked a little bit about this. Like, it's hard. I really want to go to Philly. I want to check out Philly's version of it.
I mean, we're not making it to April.
Not this April,
Yeah. I think we do need to maybe venture out and see something different. We've been doing the same thing for 2 years, or for 3 years in a row now. So, like, we've kind of gotten into our groove. And in my mind, I'm like, I kind of want to see something different. But with that being said, next year when Decibel happens, if it happens, I mean, they haven't announced it, but if it does happen, I'm going to feel very left out if we do not go.
Especially once they announce the lineup and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm missing Mother Graves as a headliner? Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might change our mind.
For sure. And I don't know.
So maybe we don't. I mean, we're not making the decision right this moment, but maybe we do wait for the lineup. Maybe, like, don't buy the tickets the day that they go on sale. Don't book our flights and our hotel and stuff right away. Like,
this year, again, it didn't sell out this year. It didn't sell out last year either.
Night 2 may have.
It may have, but not like a month or 2 ahead of time.
No,
so it's not something.
There was time to get tickets. Because last year I didn't think I was going to be able to go.
That's right. You didn't. Yeah.
I was supposed to be.
We bought them on the train on the way to a Cubs game. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was supposed to be out of the country for work. That all got messed up. So yeah.
And you were able to come, and it was a great fucking time.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And same thing with Milwaukee Metal Fest. We can skip that some year and go to like the what is it?
The Maryland Death Fest?
Yeah, we can go to that, all right? Or let's skip Headbangers Boat and go check out 40,000 tons.
40,000, well, 70,000.
Is that what it is? 70? I forgot 30 extra tons of metal.
No, we're not skipping Headbangers Boat. Like,
but that's the point, right?
Yeah,
it's really hard.
It is hard. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if they do it next year and we do not go, I'm going to have total FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. And
But
listen, you can't go to everything. If you can't make it to one of these shows, whatever. Fuck it. Who cares? You know what? You'll make the next show. There's other fucking shows out there you'll see, and you'll have a blast because you're with people who, again, as we said, you're with your fucking people. You're gonna like, hey, nice fucking shirt, and have a conversation about that. In any case, live music is awesome, and go out there, see some live music, and we'll see you out there.
Yep. Bye.